Not your most conventional way to start a regional championship, but here we are anyway. Welcome to Bahrain for the Transnation Esports European Regional Championship. I'm Brett Keenan, joined in commentary by Matthew Collier and Amar Singh. Now, under normal commentating for Group 2 while Matt and I should be commentating for Group 1. Unfortunately, what's happened is that neither tiers have had enough people to attend today, so we've actually decided to just mash them up, and we'll validate the results based by their positions. So it's a bit laggy for me at the moment because, of course, I'm the only non-European person in this broadcast. So we'll just set everything in place. So welcome to the broadcast, boys. First time for both of you. Although Matt, you had an F1 gig couple of weeks ago. Mar, you were meant to have one last week, but circumstances changed that. What do you guys think heading into today's race? Who do you think is going to be the man to beat, or who do you think is going to be top performer today at Bahrain? Amar, we'll start with you.
Well, considering we've joined both the groups together, it could be anyone. You never know.
And Matt, your thoughts?
I expect Robin to be up there, and add in Mercedes, who's in F1.
So I'm just going to try and re-familiarise myself with some of these names, because these are some of these people I don't actually commentate for, and probably won't for a while now, with the news that I'll be moving to F3 as of tomorrow anyway. So we're riding on board with Shu Miskin, who I think I know him as Robert Hildenbrandt. So he's our first Swiss driver in the Transnation Esports, and he's our first driver out on the circuit. So it'll be interesting to see. He's currently driving for Haas in F4, so he's pretty much right at home in his team. The only other person we've got that's new is Toxic Tomato 55389. His name is Cameron Young from Wales. So quite a list of people. We've got Ken Doyle, of course, from Ireland. He's racing in the Racing Point. He's normally seen in the Red Bull in Group 2. Fabio, you've got in Group 2, Alfa Romeo. Yevgeny Delacroix in F1, normally in F1. He's in Group 1 in the Ferrari. And then Toxic, who hasn't got an actual placement in the Nationals yet. Addy Bettenbauer, Group 1. Matty Smith, Group 2, Joseph Roberts, Group 2, Eden Haas, Group 2, Tyler Beasley, Group 1, Robin Kreff, Group 1, and then of course Robert Hildenbrandt, Group 2, and Samuel Sullivan in Group 2 as well. So a lot more Group 2 drivers today than Group 1. So, but we'll definitely see who's got the pace.
Just left it, sorry. On the Ferrari's just spun.
So that's Evgeny off. That's the last corner.
That's going to ruin his lap.
It's the beauty of it. It's a beauty. That's where Harrison Colville came off at last night's Oceania regional race. We do apologise as well for the broadcast of the Oceania race. It was just a case of dodgy internet for Sam, but he did a good job to do what he could, and the amount of retries he did to get back in the lobby, so he did a good job despite everything. The results for that will be patent pending, but we believe it might be Mackenzie Stewart had taken the win over Josh Banks, but we'll see what happens when all that's finalised. Anyway, so the first driver that's going to set a lap is Robert Hildenbrandt, so we'll just wait and see what he's going to pull out. I'll just get the lap data 23 out so I can see what he's posting. So he's coming around the last corner. It's actually not a very quick lap looking at it, so he's obviously hasn't going to post the time anyway, so it'll be a 45.6, which is well over their normal expected time. Someone's gone off at sector 3. I would say it's probably a slow down period. Yeah, it was like it's Fabio just coming to a thing, and now Cameron Young goes to the top on the hard with a 29.2. Robin goes to the top with a 29 dead on the hards. Eden Haas is on the hards as well. He's done a 29.3. Sam Sullivan's done a 29.7 on the soft, so we're seeing 2 of the Group 1s and 1 of the Group 2s up in the top 3. Sector 1, oh, it begins for Joseph.
Was that a spin? I didn't quite get that.
No. Oh, so Eddie had a spin, did he?
I think it was Joseph.
I think it's Joseph. Oh, okay.
So we'll see what Eddie Bettenbell can do. He's on the soft tyre. How many invites did you send him? Because I don't
It's been what, like 3 minutes? I sent him like 5 or 6.
So here comes Eddie Bettenbell, 28.2 on the soft tyre, as to be expected from one of F1. Actually, so while I'm here too, I'll actually run it by what category they run in the actual series. So you got Eddie Bettenbell in F1, Robin Kreft in F2, Toxic Tomato, as I said, or Cameron Young hasn't got a placement yet, probably likely to be F2, could be F2,
collision
actually
final
based
sector.
on his pace.
You got 5 test group penalty.
Ooh, collision with Robin. Robin has gone off circuit.
Like the last corner. He's got front wing damage.
And Eden is recovering, so maybe there was a coming together, maybe there was a bit of a something there, but either way,
he's trying to get out of the way.
Well, there is actually is debris on the circuit too. Just watching Samuel Sullivan, so we could say, let's just say Cameron Young could be F2, Eden Haas F3, Evgeny Delacow F1, Edward Sullivan F4, Matty Smith F3, Robert Hildebrand F4, Fabio Lafaciol F3, Ken Doyle F3, Joseph F3, and Tyler Beasley F1. And speaking of Fabio, he's gone.
Fabian's retired.
I don't think it's a bit early to be throwing it away, so my guess would be he's actually put it in the fence somewhere. Would I be fair to say he's done it at 6? Nope, don't see an alpha, stricken alpha there. Tyler Beasley is going to be definitely one to watch, because if he has got no racing line on, well, if he's got racing line on, he's going to be an absolute lightning bolt.
I think he's just backed out with that.
And he's going, what is he up to? Driven halfway down the straight on the off part of the road. That's certainly interesting. So Cameron Young's actually gone up to P2 with a 28.4, so he's only 2/10 off Eddie's time on
the hards.
On the hards. That's quite an impressive feat actually.
That's
and
the
only issue I'm seeing in this is that he's pushing too much on those set of tyres, so it's not going to give him much to use based on quite a long sector 3 period. Oh, Joseph's in the wall.
He's lost front wing.
Engine glitch from me as well.
That's turn 11. That's the sweeping bit where I got taken out in the regional race. So
yeah, he's lost front wing. He's going to have to back out.
But he's going to have to come back in. I need to look at things telemetry. It doesn't look like he's actually given it much gusto. It's not a very quick first sector for Tyler through sector 1. 29.3 placed at 28.1 set by adding in sector 1. Got 9 minutes left. I'm not really sure if Tyler's giving this everything or he's just trying to manage to see what the hards feel like.
He's not using any ERS.
No. Maybe he invalidated on the first few turns and now he's just trying to just see what happens as he comes down the straight. Does he switch his ERS up and
he might be just getting some practice in.
Yeah, no. Oh no, he's kicked it up into high.
It's not so bad. very well. So he's on the hards and he's suffering.
Yeah, but he's punching out. He's still punching out laps. I wouldn't be doing any more than 2 laps on a set of hard with him.
I think he wants to start on the mediums, so he's eking out the hards as much as he can and trying to put a good lap on the mediums.
Depending on what kind of tyre preference he went to, he might end up compromising himself, because if you go for the softer treatment, although I think you don't get a set of hard. No, so he'd be doing the harder one because you get a set of hards on the harder compound. Yeah, so you only get a set of hards, a set of mediums, and 2 sets of softs. So it's a basic quantity of locking up at the. That's a bitch of a corner.
Yeah, it's very difficult, that one, especially with anti-lock brakes.
Oh, and top line. Wow.
He's just keep going.
Okay, so he's just punched out the fastest time, but 5 laps on the set of tyres to do it. You would have to go to mediums now at this point.
Yeah.
You'd have to be convinced that you're.
He's not using any
You'd have
areas.
to be convinced that you're running it at the right point. So what we'll do in a minute, there is actually Joseph's on an outlap, so we could.
I think Addy's
see
on
what
outlap too.
Tyler's going to do. Tyler goes P3 with a 28.8. So what we'll do is we'll ride on board with Joseph here, and Amar, if you would, run us through a hot lap around the Bahrain circuit.
Alright, it's a hard braking for turn 1. Always a bit laggy for me. It was very laggy through there. He's revving out the engine quite a lot. Down to gear 4, gear 3. Oh, he's lagging
This is a
loads.
little unpleasant. I'm getting nauseous.
Maybe we should come back to Joseph.
Yeah, maybe we'll find someone not as glitchy. Let's have a look. I don't think we've got anyone really close to. Oh yeah, Eddie's.
He's on sector 3.
Eddie will probably come in after this run, but we'll do Eddie. So we'll set it up and see what happens. So Amar, take it from here.
Alright. Gear 8. It's going to brake hard at 100 meter board. A nice line through that corner. As much speed as you can through this. Addy goes fastest. 127.8. It's not the quickest you can do on the softs, but it's quite a competitive time.
The Haas is on the outlap, so that's the thing.
Yeah, I think Eddie's on a slow down lap now. Here we go.
Yeah.
So we'll go with Robert Hildebrand, P9.
He's in the pits.
Not bad. Definitely got some good pace actually, Hildebrand. He's only pretty much he's within the more faster F1, F2 drivers, and he is on the soft tyre, and he's done them. He's done quite a few laps on them actually. So
Yeah.
I think
Joe got to P2.
yeah,
Well, that should have been
29
a-
on the hards. That's a good time. On
That's
the
a very
hards.
good time.
That's going to set him up quite nicely for the race if he stays out of trouble. And then Cameron Young is on the soft tyres, so we should expect. I mean, if you can punch out a 28.2 on the hards,
You should be looking at 26s.
I wouldn't go as far as a 26, but a low 21.7, so somewhere on the 27.1s, maybe 27.3.
Do I think he could do 27.6? I think he could do it.
Hildebrand is at the moment that he's running on some very worn tyres at the moment. 2 laps worn on soft, so I wouldn't be going too much on these. Does a 29 dead, which puts him up to P6. Only 7/100ths of a second off Robin's time, but 2/1000ths of a second faster than Samuel Sullivan. So So the gaps are pretty close actually. Not the only driver in the 30s is still Matty Smith, and he's only done that on the. I think he did that on the hards. So he's jumped on the mediums. I'm just waiting to see what. Yeah, so they've done all that on the hards. So Matty Smith on the mediums should make a bit of an impression. The whole time for the F1, I think, was a 27.1. So not quite in that, of course.
Didn't John get 26.8 or something?
Yeah, John. Yeah, but John's on a whole different level. There's in qualifying terms, you've got F4, F3, F2, F1, then John.
Alright.
Although John's qualifying ratio hasn't been actually all that impressive despite his overwhelming speed. Very rarely ever see him on the front row because usually Bailey or Mackenzie can outgo him there. So thing comes back into the pits after 3 runs on the softs, which is going to really hurt his race pace. We've got Evgeny out on the mediums. We've got Eddie, looks like he's going to go on to another set of softs because he's probably not convinced that time's going to be safe.
I was going to say, Tomato is second up.
Yeah, Joseph's on the mediums because he's going to... Joseph's actually in a really strong position here to take pole based on the pace, and he was the one saying that the first 6 races are absolute trash to him. So I think he sold us a dummy on that one.
Yeah, he definitely did. So Cameron had to back out of his lap. I think he invalidated it.
So even if he doesn't, get a time in on the mediums, a 27.9 on a set of hards is quite impressive. Like,
I think he should be alright even if either way.
Well, if you compare it to someone like Robin,
yeah, we'll hurt him on the race start, but
yeah, Robin's fastest time at the moment is a 29 dead on the hards, so that's more than 2 seconds. As cheeky FNA.
Cheeky for stop cutting the corner.
Remember, Robin's got a grid penalty. Only goes 5th past this on the mediums.
How many corners do you want?
I don't. Well, put it this way: he can only do it. I mean, he's been exposed, so that is a definite quality ban for China. Despite that, he's got to be careful where he does it, because if he does it again in a more prominent area, like here, for example, which I don't think you don't gain anything from doing it. You invalidate your lap and the one after it. So if he does it and loses it, I think even irrespective of this, I don't think he's actually going to make it across the line. So if he doesn't make it across the line, then he's fine. But if he does, yeah, he did make it across the line, so that will be a qualifying ban for China. Oh, we got Eden Haas spun off at the last turn, but he's managed to put himself up to P3.
So I think Eddie's going to get a big toe off Joseph here on their laps.
Yeah, but Eddie's going to be disadvantaged as well, because if he gains too much time, he's actually going to get hurt by the dirty air effect. So, and because he's not, and because he knows that Joseph's not going to.
As well.
And Joseph's not going to get out of his way because he's trying to get a lap in as well. So this has hurt Eddie quite significantly.
We'll get a huge slipstream.
And of course Joseph's lagging as well, which probably
that's going to put him off.
Slipstream, and then he's going to have to try and manage this, but he will still get another toe effect out of this. Joe jumped out. Eddie bailed, so yeah, Eddie kind of blew it for himself there, but Joseph didn't improve on the medium, a 27.9. So he was 1/100th of a second off.
Oh, so close.
No, sorry, 1/1000th of a second off his best time. So who can challenge? No one. So
No one.
Eddie Bettenbauer, regardless of his impeded, well, I wouldn't call it impeded, but regardless of his attempted lap to be foiled, has still taken pole position from Joseph, and then Eden makes it a Mercedes 1-3. So that is accurate to the actual F1 as you supposedly get, except for a Renault being on the front row. Hard luck to Ken and Fabio, who didn't get to, well, Fabio didn't actually get to go for a decent lap, and Ken looked like he didn't even get a lap in. So now don't forget that Eden also has a 5-place grid penalty, so that's going to drop him to about 8th. So that'll promote Cameron Young up to P4, Robin to P3, Robin to P4, Tyler to P5, and then Matty Smith up to P6. So not too bad. Different variant strategies too. It's going to be interesting, and we'll just have a look on the chat to see if there's anything that's going to be down between. Anything to do between. Oh yeah, so it looks like it was Eden's fault for the crash. He's put his hand up and said that he will. So as the rain starts to belt down here where I am, so a bit of a surprise in the qualifying. I knew Addy would be there or thereabouts. I was kind of expecting to see Robin actually take pole position more than anything. Definitely Tyler I would have put on pole position as well, but it looks like he had a bit of a struggle in that session.
It's a very mixed up grid we have. Should be quite
good. Formation lap now underway. Matt, will you run us through the TK media starting grid?
Yeah, I'll try my best. So on pole position we have Addy Mercedes. In P2 we have Joe. P3 we have Tomato. P4 we have Robin. P5 we have Bullet Boy. P6 we have the McLaren. P7 we have the Haas. P8 we have Mercedes. P9 we have the Toro Rosso.
You're not even trying!
I don't know most of these names. P10 we have what's his name?
This much I can understand. This part I can understand is Evgeny.
Fabio, and then King Doyle rounds out the grid.
You've got a long way to go before you reach Matt Elliott's level of TK media starting group potential, but we'll get there in time. We've got 10 races to do it, as I probably forgot to mention actually. 10 race mini series for this. The actual season one will get underway in January of 2020. Ooh, Joseph's just lagged into Eddie. I wonder if that's actually prompted a yep. Whoops.
Oh, that's unlucky.
Wait, that's just sent Eddie back to the grid. Joe's still there.
Joe's fine.
I don't think Joe probably didn't hit him on his screen.
I don't know, that's an interesting one, but I don't think Eddie's going to be too optimistic about that, irrespective of the situation. So yeah, 10 race mini series. Bahrain kicks us off, then we head over to China, then it's Spain, Monaco, France and Austria, Germany and Hungary, Mexico and Brazil.
So who's your guys' favourites for this race?
Well, except for the Oceania. The Oceania will actually conclude in Germany because we've got our bloody I forgot to put Germany on our list. Although we could probably just do it. Oh no, because that will disrupt the order. Anyway, so the cars are lining up. I think everyone just about thing. We're just waiting for Ken to line up on the grid.
There's not a very good view.
Alright, so here we go.
There's not a very good view at all. Oh, there you go.
So, the lights are building up. We've got the 5 red lights, we've got 2 on the screen though. It's lights out and away we go for the Bahrain Mini-Series European Grand Prix. Great start there by Eddie Bettenvale. He's going to lead them off into turn 1. A beautiful start too by Robin Kreeft.
Oh, wait.
And that's Eden Haas. Eden Haas has crept into his own teammate. That's compromised the both of them. So Cameron Young's taken the lead of the race from Robin Kreeft, then Joseph's hold down P3. Matty Smith up to P4. Good start. Oh, in fact, he's gone for a move for P3. He's actually got it done. Oh, we got Ken spinning. Ken. Sorry, I thought to have it. But yeah, very chaotic start from the looks of it. Eddie's got front wing damage from the contact with and have they spun? No, we just had another sector. I think Ken. No. Oh no, we have Samuel Sullivan and Eden. So Eden's got massive wing damage. I don't quite really make out what happened there. I wonder if
I think he
Eden
just broke too
might
late.
have been. Yeah, he's definitely broken late, but I wonder if it's because because everyone's broken too early and he's just kind of being caught unawares. So yeah, I don't think Eddie's going to be too overly happy with that. I think, does he have wing damage, Eddie? No, yes he does.
He does.
Right hand end plate missing, so yeah, he's not going to be too pleased about that. Now the interesting standpoint is, will he pit? Because if he pits, as he is actually trying to have a move here on Tyler Beasley,
both got a good exit at the last corner.
If he pits, then it puts Eden in an even worse spot, because then he has to double stack, but it looks like he's staying out. Eden's going to definitely come in. And when you start, and see, this is the problem that I had in my race, because I didn't do exactly what Eden did, but I ended up outbraking myself, hitting another driver and breaking my wing, and he will serve as 5-second stop go at the same time. When you break your front wing, especially when you're on the harder tyre, or like the harder compound, it's a
lot more difficult to control the car.
And Eden straight onto the Discord screaming apologies. Because I started on the hards, so when you start on the hards, you don't want to pit, because it ruins your strategy completely. So, for Eden, that's going to be a bit of a tearjerker there, because he's started on the mediums, now he's jumped on the hard, so he's probably going to have to do a 2-stop now for 2 sets of soft, so that's going to be a bit of an interesting development. So Cameron Young leads 9/10 of a second ahead of Robin Kreeft, and Tyler's now giving Matty Smith a real run for his money, and this is the differences in pace between F1 and F3. And don't forget, once about not that long ago, Eden Haas with a 10-second time penalty and a collision. Looks like he might have come into collision with Samuel Sullivan. He's redressed it, so he's actually given that spot back. So for Sam, that's going to be an interesting. It's going to be an interesting race for these two. For Ken, he's only. Oh, we got a move here. That's Hildebrand on Fabio. So Fabio's made a few positions up from the start.
3rd to 7th all really close together. Almost trained.
And Matty is doing an absolutely brilliant job at the moment holding off Tyler Beasley. So, like I said, this is the comparison between F3 and F1. Well, Tyler actually stuck his nose in there and held the ground. Now he's going to make the points. I thought he was going to make the move stick, but Matty's actually still got the traction down. He could still. Oh, this is going to get hairy.
Ooh, it's got the corner.
Wait, Joseph runs into the back of Tyler. This is a really good mean pack here, but it's actually all it's doing is helping
Eddie.
Helping Tyler, Robin and Cameron get away here. So I think Tyler called it right when he said that this Toxic Tomato would be quite a challenger, and he's definitely showing his might. He's holding off the defending F2 champion of Season 3, so...
Do you think he could go for a move down straight here?
Yeah, Robin should have the DRS, but he won't. Will he make a
He's gonna go down
dive
the
here?
inside.
He's going for his out of the slipstream, and down the inside he does, and Robin Griff will take the lead. But in saying that, he's also going to be under threat from the DRS.
Cameron's
He goes
got a
wide.
Very nice exit.
He's going to try and go around the outside. We've seen this, in fact, but neither had DRS. He's got it done. No, Robin's going to hang it out. They're going to go side by side through 4 and 5, but then Cameron puts the brakes on and holds the ground. It's a great battle between these two. Really well scrapping out. Now,
So Cameron on the
Maddie
hards.
Smith's got Eddie Bettenbelt company. Maddie Smith has the knowledge of knowing that Eddie does have wing damage, and Evgeny is right behind him, and of course Evgeny and Eddie have got their own little battle going on in the F1 category at the moment. In fact, they're both teammates in the F1 category, so teammates on one side, rivals in the next. As, oh, didn't even need DRS to overtake Maddie there.
He got him on the track sensor.
We've got I've got to say though, I'm really impressed by Robert Hildebrand at the moment. He's done a good job. He's got wing damage too. I don't know where he's got that, but
I think
he's managed
Matty's
to hold his own, and he's
losing
staying
a lot
with
of places.
the pack. And Fabio's managing now to slowly bring his way into the fold, the defending F3 champion. So we've got 2 of the 3 defending champions in this lobby. Of course, Daniel Val, who won the F1 last season, could have probably come into the regionals. Oh, we've got a blinker. So Eddie's
in the pits.
decided he's had enough of that front wing. So they'll fix that up, and that'll drop him down the order a little bit. So he'll definitely drop in P10. He won't lose 11th. So, because the other 2 are too far back. So, Ken's slowly but surely catching up to the rest of the field. Joseph's
So is
now going to
Tyler.
have a crack at Maddie Smith.
Tyler's catching the leaders. And he's on the hards as well,
He
so
is
he'll
doing it. He's
have,
flying.
he'll have a nice second stint on the mediums.
And those 2 are still scrapping up the front, so as they keep scrapping, that's going to help Tyler catch into them, and that's going to turn a 2-car battle into a 3-car battle. And of course, don't forget later on, at 10 o'clock, we're going to be having a social race for the F2 cars. I don't know whether we'll stream that or not, unless you 2 want to take a hand in it.
Not sure yet. We'll see.
Anyway, and then of course at about 2 o'clock in the afternoon New Zealand Standard Time, we will have the US regional race. So the time is Tyler does the fastest lap of the race.
It's very nice that.
So he's really making some inroads on him. So I thought Robin may have had a go on the straight there, but he wasn't close enough.
Shows if it's going on Matty's. Bit of content.
It was wheel to wheel, so it wasn't too bad. Fabio's now getting himself into this little battle. So this is the F3 battle, you could say.
Yeah.
And this is actually the effective battle for Group 2 honours. So Joseph leads the Group 2 honours from Fabio, and then Maddie Smith, Ken in 4th, Hildebrand in 5th, and then Sullivan in P6, and then Eden Haas in P7. So then in the Group 1, of course, you've got the top 3, well the top 4,
Robin's out of DRS.
Eddie in 5th. So Evgeny should catch this. In fact, Robin's starting to slowly but surely now drop off the back of Cameron Young at the moment. His pace is just starting to, on the hard mediums, are just probably starting to shift in weight. We've got Eden now making a move on Sullivan at 3. There was a bit of uncertainty into that corner, but it looks like he's got it done as Young responds with the fastest lap of the race. but still the gap to Tyler is diminishing just that little bit every so often. And we'll just watch the straight here. Here comes Fabio on Joseph. Joseph's actually gone to the inside, but Fabio has got the position, so that's Fabio now into the lead of the G2 category. And then Maddie Smith holding down P3. So I don't know whether or not we'll try and get all 3 party members into the, or all 6 people into the commentary after the race, because I don't know if Toxic will join us and Tyler doesn't have a mic. And then Fabio doesn't.
Send them an invite.
Fabio's English is muy mío.
I respect that though.
Yes, that was Spanish. He's Italian, I just said that in Spanish, but oh, Joseph deep on the brakes there on the back of Fabio's car. Nearly made a meal of it. So this is probably the only battle we've got at the moment brewing, as we just wait and see what. Definitely a different tale to tell for Addy and Eden based on what could have been on the.
Well, Joseph goes very wide. 3-second time penalty as well.
The 3-second time penalty.
This would be quite an interesting race, especially in this second stint, because you got the leader that's going to have to go on mediums, and then maybe Robin can do what Cameron's done to him.
Well, it's definitely gonna play into the point with the undercut for Robin, because Robin will have to stop before Cameron. Although in saying that, Cameron does have the ability to be able to maybe pit a little earlier. The hard tyre is expected to take you about 16 laps in this race, with the mediums then taking you the further 13. So you could pit, Cameron could pit 2 laps earlier, which means that Robin's undercut will be kind of null and void. So you could play that strategy game. You could be like, I mean, the only person who's probably expected to come back in, actually he has just come in, not recently, Robert Hildebrandt's just come in, so he was the only one on the softs, as was Addy. So they've completed their stops and they'll be doing 2 stops from here on out. Because there's no way Addy's going to be able to take those hards all the way to the end. He'll probably try. I can give him guts for trying, but I don't know if he'll
be very difficult.
So that gap out the front is dropping, or is increasing quite significantly. So Robin's either conserving his ERS. We'll just have a look at his ERS. Yeah, he's definitely in ERS conservation mode. Cameron Young, on the other hand, has got a lot of ERS to spare, but he's not actually using it on the straights.
He's playing it very smart.
He's turning it on in the corners, but then turning it down on the straights. So he's obviously, he knows that he doesn't have any competitive, well, he doesn't have a threat from behind at the moment.
He's just maximising his saving.
Definitely. Oh, Robin, huge moment coming through turn 5.
Oh, I don't think I caught that.
Just lost the rear end. It just got twitchy, but yeah. Tyler's catching him, but Tyler's actually going to need to start conserving because he's got the fuel light, so he needs to run into some fuel conservation mode. It's very rare to actually see drivers end up being in fuel conservation mode on this game because of the way that the ERS works.
Normally you fill your car up quite a lot at the start and just do the first stint full rich mode.
So I think Tyler's obviously underfilled his car in a bid to have a bit more pace at the start of the race, which underminedly is a good idea, but it depends on how much he's burnt, because in the previous games you used to be able to see how much fuel they actually had. So unfortunately they don't show it in this one, so it's very hard to see where he stands on that. But Maddie Smith, 3-second time penalty for excessive warnings.
He does a front wing damage.
Oh yeah, left.
What's Fabio's pace compared to Evgeny at the moment? It's actually decreasing, so Fabio's actually catching Evgeny very quickly. Well, not quickly, but you know, it's definitely noticeable that Fabio is. So this is about the point of the race where the hard tyre. Oh, Maddie's in. Yeah, so this is about the time where the soft runners, well, sorry, the medium runners will come in. This is probably a bit late, or
I
a
had to
bit early
change front
for
wing.
Matty, but yeah, changing front wing will do that. That'll put Eddie back into P9, 8. He might even lose position here to Hildebrandt. But Hildebrandt's on a completely different strategy, so that's going to change the offset of that. Now, they've actually, Eden and Samuel Sullivan have actually made up some pretty good ground in the space of this stint, because they've managed to bring themselves back within 10 seconds of Matty Smith. But I think, well, based on my knowledge, they're both not going to make it to the end on those
Yeah,
halves,
they'll probably
so they're
have
going
to
to
stop
have to
again.
come in again.
How
Now,
long is the pit stop here?
Can Tyler
Do you know?
make a move here before Robin comes in, as Cameron Young does the fastest lap of the race? He's now pushing that gap out. It's already out to 5 seconds, so he's really pushing now.
He's flying.
And then Tyler is gradually... See, what my thought process is here is that Robin's probably trying to conserve as much tyre as he can, so that he can create a good in-lap and then an out-lap. But if he's not careful, he's about 1.7 seconds away from the undercut being pretty much pointless. And if he gets overtaken by Tyler,
Robin should pit this lap, I think.
Yeah.
He's losing a lot of
You
time.
would want to come in about... This is about when the pit window opens for the soft or the medium runners.
He's got a nice exit there, Robin, doing that.
That corner just misleads you so much based on its trajectory. So you think someone's having a go, but they're actually just taking the line. So what can Tyler do here? He's going to want to be careful, because if Robin does come in, Tyler's going to have to be aware of this, but I think he'll get in here.
No, he's using no ERS, I think he knows. Oh, Robin's not
pay
pitting.
attention to this. No, Robin stays out. But this will be done. And position change, and that's Tyler Beasley up to P2. Now he'll try and chase after the race leader. So this is where, ideally, if I was Tyler, I would probably come in lap 14, 1 lap before the pit window, and then smack on a set of mediums and just try and do the undercut, because he could probably do it now that he's cleared of Robin and he's on the same strategy as Cameron. So it could be a very interesting development to see what happens here. Fabio is still catching Yevgeny. It's now down to 3 seconds.
They still got to be careful of Robin though, I think. If he gets on the hards.
Oh yeah, Robin's still definitely a threat, but and his tyre strategy will come into his favour at the end of this race, based on the top 2 having
overtaken him.
worn out mediums. Matt, what are your thoughts on this so far?
Yeah, I'm surprised about the new person who's leading the race, Toxic Tomato. Clearly a very quick driver. There's been quite a lot of changes from the start of the race. The 2 Mercedes crashed at turn 1. Just we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, there's a lot of cars and different strategies as we have Robin into the pits. He's being held. Yeah.
And Tyler did the fastest lap of the race as well, and he's already chopped that lead down by 2 seconds.
He got rid of that lead. Holy.
And this is what I'm talking about. If Tyler's running no racing line, oh, the sector 2 and 3 crash somewhere. Oh, it's Hildebrandt. Hildebrandt's had a spin around at 11. And it would be sector 2 and 3, because that's just at the point of the sector 3 beginning. He's just lost a position to Matty. from all that, so that's not too much of a hassle. We will have Eden for company, and both of these both of these guys will have to make another stop. So I would probably, if I was, well, he hasn't, but if I was Hildebrand, I would have come in at that point because those tyres will be pretty cooked. We'll see what. So Joseph
still has to pit, I
right
think.
on the back of
He's right on the back.
Robin, but of course this is on a variant strategy. Robin's going to see now. Robin's not going to like the idea that he's come out behind Fabio, because that means now he's got to try and overtake another car, because Fabio won't be in for at least another, about another 2 laps.
I think he should get the move done.
See, this is how that bugs me. He didn't come in at the start. Why does he have one? Oh no, it's because he hasn't completed that lap yet. These guys have completed that lap already. They're already 22 seconds up the road. So looks like Cameron is responding to the threat of Tyler at the moment. The gap has kind of just stretched back out to about 4.3. It was 3.6.
He started using his ERS again. He had no ERS usage for like a whole lap. And that's when
well, he knows now that Tyler is a threat, so he's obviously applying the pressure. So if I was Tyler, and I know Tyler's probably listening, because he's a cheeky little shit like that, I'd be pitting this lap for the undercut. But anyway, we've got Eddie on the back of Yevgeny at the moment, and this is a difference in strategy because Yevgeny's only just come out of the pit. So that's a good recovery from Eddie in the space of it. He has managed to kind of bring himself back into what should be effectively P5 on the track. As he tries to have a look on the back of Yevgeny at the moment, does the fastest lap of the race.
15 laps in.
Just as I called it, Tyler in. he watches the stream. It's my influence, in my regard, my influence has brought him to F1, because he started in F4. I told him he was using automatic gears, I told him to go manual. He went manual for the next race. Then when he went to F3, I told him to turn his assists off and he'd be faster, and he turned his assists off.
Yeah,
So
sorry, Brett. Addy's tyres are cooked in Mercedes. He's lost it along the corner.
Oh, he has too. So critically for Tyler, he's come out ahead of Fabio. Oh, sector 3. Oh, that's Hildebrand again. Same corner.
He's not a fan of that corner, is he?
No, he'd probably want to come in now. So what is...
He keeps getting on the curve and sliding his front.
What is Cameron Young going to do here? Is he going to respond, or is he going to hang it out to the rest of the strategy and have 2 lap fresher tyres than Tyler? But I can tell you already, the undercut is already working. That gap is dropping significantly, and Fabio's just made a mistake here. He's letting Robin through, so that's good sportsmanship there. I would have, technically it's full position, so it wouldn't have been too
we've got the leader
daring to do that. But he's got a gap to Joseph, so it's not like he needs to. Oh, yep, there we go. He's responded. So this is critical. Let's see. Has the undercut played off? I don't think it has too much. Just waiting for it. Here comes Tyler down the straight. Cameron's about to get on the accelerator now. Tyler's going to have definitely more momentum. Undercut definitely worked, but not.
Got Joe in.
Although, like I said, he's got cold. Cameron's got cold tyres, so he'll have to manage that. So that's going to give Tyler a bit of an incentive to push on these tyres to get a bit more gap on them. Robin is still P3, so he's been This will come back to him though. This should come back to him based on the fact that he's on the hard and the other 2 on the mediums. Fabio should be expected in. He'll probably want to come in now because Joseph has initiated the undercut on him. Hildebrandt has come in and jumped onto the medium, so the gaps have actually kind of... Let's have a look at the overall leader gap. So about a minute 39, so I think Hildebrandt has fallen a lap down on the leaders. No, but he's dangerously close to. He's only a corner ahead of Cameron Young, so the gap 2.9 seconds. So there was a definite 2-second undercut there for Tyler, but I don't think there was probably much more that Tyler could have done in that regard. He needed to do the undercut to kind of put Cameron in the position to respond. So as Tyler does the fastest lap of the race, Fabio not responding to Joseph's pit strategy. That's interesting.
Maybe he thinks he can eke out a little bit more of the tyres.
Well, Joseph does have Eddie for company, but I think Eddie is pulling away.
Maybe if Fabio's going to do half the source.
So I think Robin just needs to...
That would be a very daring strategy, but it can pay off. I mean, so that would mean that Fabio would have to take these tyres right to lap 20. So another 3 laps. So definitely doesn't look like he's pushing too hard on them. He's running no ERS. Yeah, he could probably do it, but I don't know. This is all variant on how much time he loses. So I'll just have a look at the leaderboard on the leader scale. So the gap between Fabio and Joseph is about 26 seconds. There or thereabouts. And it looks like Cameron has responded as well, because he's punched out another half a tenth in the thing as Tyler grabs one of the styrofoam boards heading into the last corner. That's probably gonna rattle him a bit. Yep, Cameron
was a lot faster
lap of the race, so definitely applying the pressure when it's needed.
Oh, he's got a bit of traffic as well.
Yep, so will Fabio jump to the softs? I mean, the softs, that's 9 laps, so that's a possibility, but well, actually it's 11 laps, so I wouldn't be... No, he's jumping on the softs, so the medium, sorry. I just still get the freaking context of the 2018 tyre sets. Ken, on the other hand, might be doing that strategy that we were talking about. So where is Joseph? Joseph is coming across the line. And Fabio's actually going to come out just ahead of Eddie, so the undercut hasn't worked for Joseph as much.
Oh, bullet ball blocked it. He just spun.
Oh,
yeah,
no.
so that's... He's going to have to wait, and he'll rejoin behind Robin. So that should... It's still pretty good for Tyler at the moment, because he's got so much of a gap to Ken. But yeah, that's definitely killed his hopes of winning the race, and Cameron Young is definitely blowing him out of the water. And if he moves to F2 for tomorrow at Silverstone, he could be a very interesting contender for the remainder of the season. Definitely ain't going, because he definitely ain't going F3 if that's his pace.
He's looking quite quick, isn't he?
Oh, Gene nearly lost it in the fry.
Yeah, this set of corners here is pretty on and off. It's very hard to... Now, Fabio could actually still very well... I mean, he's got Eddie for company, and Eddie's only within DRS range. But the tyre differences between Eddie and Fabio are quite different, so I could almost see...
He's in.
Ken's in, so that's going to bring them up to P5 and 6. Fabio could very well take P4 from Yevgeny if he can withstand the challenge from Eddie and just apply the pressure, because he is catching Yevgeny quite quickly, and even with DRS, Eddie isn't primarily in a position to strike. Joseph has done a pretty good job just hang on to P2 in the effectiveness of the G2, and Matty Smith holding down P3. Eden's recovered quite nicely, but again, probably expect to see him in not too long from now. I can't imagine his tyres going too much longer. Sullivan has come in. He's jumped onto the medium tyre as well. But he's been put a lap down actually from race leader, and he's got only about 5-6 seconds from Robbins putting him a lap down. And yeah, look at that, Fabio's already cleared. Oh, he's gone a bit wide out of 12.
Went very wide.
But he's still out of DRS range from Eddie, although this could change in a matter of milliseconds. No, he was just outside the 1 second range, or just over the 1 second range into. And yeah, Tyler, 3 second time penalty for, well, judging from where he's coming from, that must have been turn 2.
Yeah.
Very easy to do. But
He's gone very wide here as well.
as he goes horrendously wide out of 5. I'd expect to see Fabio on the back of Evgeny, maybe about another lap or 2. And then we'll have ourselves another little battle here. Eddie, on his tyre strategy, it would estimate about another 9 laps. Nah, he won't make it to the end on these tyres either, but we know for a fact he'll jump in and go for the fastest lap, because, although in saying that, would he get it? Oh no, he would get it, because I'm just trying to think of. Sorry. So Eden will come in soon. That will promote Ken up to P9.
Oh, he's doing a bit of drift here.
He's getting a bit. Yeah, it's definitely, those tyres have seen better days. Tyler is actually now within striking range of Robin again, and he'll be just kind of settling himself into a rhythm now. He'll know that he's made this mistake, and he'll think, okay, time to settle down. Don't push. We've lost the win, but we can still go for second. But he will need to make 3 seconds after he makes the overtake. So, good drive by Robin though. You can't knock it down. You know, probably didn't feel like he was in for a shot of a win. He's been very close to today.
He had a very good start, didn't he?
Yeah, very good start. Managed to, and he was started 5th. I think. Hang on, actually, we can see when. Let's have a look at the.
He's up 2 places.
You find that that's in positional change. So he's made 2 positions from the start. So he started P4. Evgeny and Fabio have been the biggest winners, both starting, both making up 6 positions from the start. Of course, Fabio started on the back row of the grid after not being able to set a lap and flying. The biggest losers have been Joseph and Addy, of course, our front row sitters, and Hildebrandt also has been one of the bigger losers by dropping 4 spots from the start. So definitely a lot of tails to tell for a lot of the drivers. Of definitely happy days for Red Bull, with one of their drivers, but one of the 4 I should say, really, because
he's lost it again.
No.
Ooh, that's turn.
He's lost it. Turn 1 and 2.
I did that plenty of times. Ugh, I hate that corner for that reason. It's just so off camber. And Fabio could very well, after all that, Joseph finally disconnects. That's not bad. That's 22 laps.
No, it's not bad.
That's only the 2nd disconnection of the session. But Fabio definitely in a shot here of taking P4 off Evgeny. So this is an F1 driver against an F3 driver, so this is a very different contrast of potential, but this is also a different contrast in assist. So Evgeny, by being in,
he's gone very
he's locked up.
Very
By Evgeny being in F1, he runs no assist, so that's no traction, no ABS, no racing line, automatic gears, manual ERS, manual gears, and all the other perks. Whereas Fabio, I think, is also running no assist, but I think he runs racing line. In fact, Evgeny is actually given the spot up, is he? No, he's just gone defensive,
I
but
think he tried to break the DRS.
Fabio's going to have the outside, but the traction is better put for the... Oh, don't go side by side here, boys. This never works. I thought Evgeny was giving the spot up initially, but yeah, he just went defensive. And if they're not careful, Eddie could capitalise on this a little bit, but like I say, I don't think he's going to be able to get to the end. Oh, and yeah, Eden has come in too, so Eden's come in and put on the sauce.
Got a nice battle here.
Well, Joseph was ahead of Matthew Smith, wasn't he?
Oh, little love tap there.
He thought about it, he committed, he definitely committed, but there was just not enough room in the end of it, and Fabio, I think in the end actually parked it on the brake to make sure that he didn't actually end up losing his front wing.
Bit of glory here, hasn't he,
Good battle
Fabio?
though, definitely really good battle between these two.
So Joe's disconnect has meant he's lost position to the McLaren driver.
Yeah, so Matty Smith now ahead, so that's going to put him P2 effectively in the G2 as Eden does the fastest lap of the race, and he is P10, so he should hold on to that point. Because this is a public lobby, I will have to do the points manually heading into China when we hopefully can go back to the two group formats on the league format. Fabio has lost a bit of ground in pursuit of Evgeny, but he's probably just backing off now to charge his DRS to have another crack. Whereas Evgeny is probably doing the same, using it to... Ooh. Now, I don't know if this is this is not a good strategy. This is not a good call by Tyler.
I think he might have taken too much out of his tyres.
Yeah,
Well, I know he's going for the fastest lap, but he's now compromised the podium by doing this. So this battle now is for the podium, the official podium. So Fabio could not only win his group, but he could also end up on a podium on the official scale. So this is big for Fabio's confidence heading into tomorrow's British Grand Prix for the F3 category. Of course, with me there, he's gonna be asking for a lot of miracles. No,
He has to get it done quick though.
Yeah, he does need to get it done because Evgeny is building up his ERS to defend, and he is defending quite valiantly, so we'll see. We've only got pretty much 4 laps left to go.
A lapse by Tyler.
Always gotta be careful.
Actually, Tyler has come out right behind Addy, so he could possibly get this back, maybe, but he's got a 5-second. He's got 8 seconds of penalties to accommodate for it. Addy goes
around the outside.
Oh, right around the outside. They're gonna have to go side by side now through here. This is gonna get ugly. This is gonna end in tears. How did they not? That is an unbelievable. That is unbelievable driving from both of them just to be able to stay within each other. Now, watch. On. Wait, Robin's coming in.
Yeah, Robin's pitted and he's back out. Is he in clean air?
Yeah, he's got ahead of the two. Here comes Fabio. He's going to go down the inside. Evgeny's tried to defend. He's got nothing to do. And Fabio will now jump to the podium. And he probably needed to do that more than anything because Tyler is going to come at him at a rate of knots.
Robin came out in clear air as well, just in front.
Now, insane. So that's pretty much given Cameron Young a free pit stop as well. So will we see him come in to try and attempt the fastest lap? Yes. Here we go. So it's all on here for the fastest lap of the race. Fabio would have been kind of hoping that Robin was a lot further away or a lot closer because he might have been able to snag second through all this, but I know for a fact that Robin probably wouldn't have done it if he'd known that he would have lost a position doing it. Whereas he had the gap, so he's taken the initiative. It has bridged the gap down to about 3 seconds to Fabio, but of course the tyre differences make up for that more than anything. And that's Sullivan there on Young, but of course
on the back of this. Ty can still get a podium if he's quick.
Ooh.
But he has to clear 8 seconds. Wait, is that Fabio hitting?
No, he's just trying to break
Fabio's
the,
just going massively defensive.
This is going to be really interesting when they're going to go 3 wide. Oh, that's a lunge.
Double overtake, that's a lunge! Oh, he's managed to hold it
He's got
down,
a lot
but he's
more
going to try
traction.
and he's got it done easily, so he can not only...
It's going to be very interesting.
So he's got the podium back, but he has to try and clear 8 seconds. That's a tall order for 3 laps.
Yeah, Fabio
and Yevgeny's managed to claw himself back in.
Fabio
Could
and
he still get
don't have
Robin
any penalties, so... Yeah, Yevgeny and Fabio don't have any penalties, so... Tyler will have to put the hammer down.
Well, Joseph's still on the back of Matty Smith. Joseph, despite everything, still hasn't managed to actually get past him. So the question is, would Eden come back in again to try and do another attempt at the fastest lap? Probably not, because Hildebrand is only 16 seconds behind, so that would put him out of the point, which means that fastest lap point would be null and void. So Fabio needs to get out of the DRS from Yevgeny, but he's not doing that at the moment, so he's going to have to go defensive into 1 again. Tyler is on the back of Robin. Is that DRS active? Yes, that's DRS active. 2 laps left to go. This is actually definitely one of the more exciting conclusions to the races I've seen in a while. Take it to Europe to provide us with some good hardcore racing, especially multiple in different categories, Spec 2. So, you know, it's good to see the G2s actually fighting it up amongst the G1s. So your effective top 3 in G1 is Cameron Young, Robin Kreeft, Tyler Beasley, though that could end up being Yevgeny at the end of the race if Tyler doesn't get 8 seconds on him. Then your effective top 3 for the G2 is Fabio Lafaciol, Matty Smith and Joseph Roberts. Now I think Joseph and Matty both have the same amount of penalties too, so this is an effective 2 and 3. Sullivan has crashed. I don't know where he's crashed.
Sector 3.
Not going to do... It's Sector 3, so maybe turn 11? Who's coming through 11? Here we go, Eddie Bettenbauer. Let's have a look, let's ride on board and see if we can track down and straight Toro Rosso.
Yep, he's just on the outside. Oh, it's disappeared.
Tough corner.
Ah, yep, there we go.
Can't go side by side.
So here we go again. This time, I think Tyler will get him this time. He's going to lunge. And Fabio with Yves still can't bridge that gap. What about Matty and Joseph? Joseph has the DRS, but that straight looks like Matty's car is built on straight line speed, so nothing Joseph can actually do on the straight line.
Uh oh, he's crashed it.
Gone. Wow.
Oh, he's put it on the wall on the outside. It's turn 8, he's just put it on the wall.
So we still go back to the P3. Check the penalty.
Fabio. Oh, hang on, we lost Tyler. Wait,
Yeah,
when did...
he
I had my head down for a second and Tyler's gone.
crashed out at turn 8.
Fabio there actually cuts Robin.
Wait, are they both out? I think they've collided together.
No,
Joseph and Matty.
Here goes
No, we
Fabio.
just lost. Wait, both of them are gone.
Both of them.
Fabio tries to go for the
They're both
switch back.
Matty and Joe are gone.
I must have crashed into each other then.
There they are. Look.
What am I
Oh,
saying?
gee.
We got a battle for P2.
Outside of
that
turn
promotes-
13.
That promotes Eden up to P2 on the scale. This is the last lap. So could Fabio steal P2 and be... I mean, we'll just cross back up to the front here and pay umbrage to... as he gets his first and only time penalty of the race. He's just driven a completely brilliant race today, and he's absolutely brained the field. So Cameron Young will round the first turn, and he'll take first honours in the regionals and win Group 1, or win for the Group 1 in the Bahrain Grand Prix. This battle, Fabio could still very well
Does Robin have any time penalties?
P2 at the moment. I don't know. I think Robin may have one.
They both don't have any penalties. They don't have any penalties. It's a race for position.
But I think that it's going to go in the way of Robin, unless Fabio can get a good drive out of here and get him on traction, and then use the DRS. Here he comes, and then across the line. But no, Robin's going to hold on to it. Fabio wins the G2 and takes a podium for the whole respect from it. Yevgeny will take down P3, so he'll be on the podium for the G1. Eddie Bettenbauer will be P4. Ken Doyle will be on the podium for P2, actually. So Ken Doyle takes P2 in the G2 category, and Eden Haas will be P3 with Robert Hildebrandt in P4. Now, luckily for Matty and Joseph, I think when they crashed, they were on the 90%, so they will still be classified, and I think Tyler will be as well, so they'll still score points for their position based on that. So, I don't think we'll concern ourselves today with, yeah, I don't think we'll concern ourselves today with podium presentations because there's too many people to talk to. Boys, what were your gauges on that race?
It's quite a surprising race. Learned how fast Cameron was in the Red Bull. I'm excited to race him tomorrow in the F2 race.
Shall I go?
Yep, have your say and then we'll wrap it up.
Yeah, very interesting race. Team Mercedes crashed on lap 1, which threw lots of different strategies out there. Tyler was doing really well until he pitted and then he crashed. But Fabio for me would definitely be driver of the day.
Yeah, definitely Fabio from back of the field to P2, so it's definitely one of those ones where championship perspective, it's an interesting telling point, and it definitely goes to show that even though the groups have been put together, the actual pace between the two is not all that different. So it's going to be an interesting foray to see how these guys prepare themselves for the actual race next weekend at the Chinese Grand Prix for round 2 of 10. But we'll see for that, hopefully with both groups, not this kind of combined grid again. So without further ado, Brett Keenan, Amar Singh and Matthew Collier signing out from Bahrain. We'll catch you guys